This is going to be a quick video of the slideshow that we presented for our parent meeting. You'll be able to stop the video and kind of look over the slide itself and read some of the wording that we have there. And at the very end, if you want to get in touch with me, don't hesitate to contact me, and you'll be able to for any questions or anything that may come up that are pertaining to the slideshow. Um, One of the big things I would like to point out for when it comes to our mission statement is the individual goals of players become the goals of Storm Volleyball, and that could be a goal to, get better for your school team. You want to compete at a high level. You may just enjoy volleyball and you love competing, and so whatever your goal is going to become our goal, and we want to get you there. We do have a board of advisories that make up a community advisor, a Gulf Coast region board member, also a couple of parents. So it's not just one decision when it comes to PIVC Storm. It does come from a group of people. We discuss it and then we go from there. I've been coaching for 22 years. I started Pleasure Island Volleyball in 2004. Then around 2016, we kind of joined forces with Mobile Storm. Nicole Keyshot is the director there, and she and I have been doing so many things together at that point with camps and tournaments. And we were like, we have the same philosophies. We train the same. Let's go ahead and join forces and continue to do this under Storm Volleyball. I've assisted camps with Penn State, UWF, several couple of colleges, along with owning extreme volleyball camps. I've been on the board of directors for the Gulf Coast region for over 10 years, and I'm the high performance director for indoor and beach, and I'm also a high performance coach. You may ask, why Storm Volleyball? One of the things I like to point out is our coaches are great people, and we really get along. We spend a lot of time together outside of volleyball, and but they've gone through the safe sport. They've gone through the background checks. One of the things I want to point out is our Storm coaching training style. We're all kind of are very similar. We try to use the same vocabulary words. It's called the Train the Same program, and one of the things we also do is the master plan, practice plan. That means, for example, and it doesn't matter what level, because we can adjust the skill level, no matter what the skill may be. So if I say angle passing, I email all my coaches and we're going to do angle passing today. So I'll send several drills and they will modify the drills based on their skill level. They'll go 45 minutes for that focus. And then then they will go into maybe some other things that are needed for their team specifically at that skill level. We do have a couple of different type of programs. We start out with Volley Tots, and it's a very young age group where we just do a couple of training sessions with them each year. Then we have the grassroots. Now, Volley Tots, let me back up, is you're talking about ages anywhere from 4 to 5 or 6. Grassroots is starting around 6, and they go up to about 9 or 10. I've even taken an 11-year-old because they just weren't ready for some of the junior competition stuff. Then we have 10 through 18. We also have beach volleyball. We do a lot of beach volleyball. We have a club level, elite, next level. So you'll see things that come up on Facebook and through our website that you may check out, especially in April when we start this. There are private lessons and an MVP fitness training program, and I'll explain more of that when that slide comes up. Oh, here it is. So MVP Fitness. Eddie Henry is the owner and founder of Midtown Trainers in Gulf Shores. He started Results Fitness and in Gulf Shores, and also he was the previous owner of Fairhope Fitness. He's been doing this a very long time, and he's come up with different modalities that work with volleyball players. It's quick or slow to quick movements like you see in a game. There's a lot of speed and agility, and I think the number one thing is injury prevention. And that really goes towards a lot of players who may be around 12 and above. We've had a couple of 12-year-olds and they're starting to get taller and things like that, and they want to increase their speed. So he works with them through different training exercises, and you can find those on our website and you can see how they work. He will be doing this 3 days a week. And what he does, he gets them acclimated. He runs the different trainings. And once he gets them to a certain point where they learn of all the different training styles for that week, there's 6 of them, 6 weeks, different ones. He would then, just be there to monitor it. They're going to know exactly what they're going to come in and do. It's going to be on a sheet of paper on the wall. They come in, they go straight to the exercises. They go through their different sets and circuits, and then they're finished in about 45 minutes. Now, it's always tricky because we try to get some feedback from people because right now, like, this is scheduled to start on October the 25th, and they will start at 4 p.m. Now, that means, we may have people that are traveling pretty far and they can't get there at 4 p.m. Let us know and we'll try to offer some other things later that afternoon. But right now it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And like I said, once they learn everything, they're going to get a key fob to his gym in Gulf Shores, and then come in any time and do those exercises because they're going to know what they are. And that will be in front of him. He's there, unless they were wanting to do something on the weekend. We prefer our older age group girls who are they can do things, if he's not there with the key fob. We do offer private lessons. You'll see stuff. All of us coaches actually do it, and it's $35 to $40 an hour. I say that because most of the time I charge 40, anywhere from around 40, and I have someone with me as why, and because I like a lot of feedback, so I can have someone help with some of the drills while I really focus on the player themselves, and together we brainstorm and work on the skills that player needs to get them better. When you get a little bit more than 2 players, most of the coaches do give a discount. Like I said, I'm always with someone else, so typically there's not a discount. It just kind of depends. I try to help people out when I can. I don't allow more than 3 to 4 people. 4 is really pushing it. 3 is perfect. We can go alternate through the drill so the players don't get gassed out so quickly. Because if they were constantly going for 1 hour, just one as an individual, it can be tiresome for them. And then at the very end, they're not getting much out of it. We talked about beach. Beach is huge for us. We do have a national championships in beach. It's the only one in our region, or the only national championships for that matter. But it is in beach, and Lauren and Marty won that back when they were 16. They're now in college playing. We'd like to congratulate our recent player, Katie Anderson. She is now going to be going to North Alabama for beach as well. She just verbally committed a couple weeks ago. So, but you'll see stuff pop up, as I mentioned before, with our beach program. Eddie Henry, who does our MVP fitness, is our master coach for beach. He's a BCAP too, the highest you can get, and he also works with USA Volleyball, going around, coaching kids who are trying to get into the pipeline for the Olympics and beach. Our grassroots program. So I'm going to explain this the most real quick right now, because everything else after this is more geared toward the older girls. Grassroots, as I mentioned, it can be from 7 to 10. I've even had an 11-year-old because they just wasn't ready, and the parents wanted them to try something more lower skill level. But this is a great program. They practice once a week. They play in 6 to 8 grassroots tournaments. They're usually after one of the tournaments, the big tournaments, on Saturday or Sunday. And it lasts about 3 to 4 hours. They get a lot of reps in. They actually start it from serving from the way inside the court, and as they get one over, they back up. As they get another one over, they can back up. And that way they're really getting in, they see some success, and hopefully we get some rallies going. As they progress through this program, then they, as they get through up to 10, they can start some of the other stuff that we offer. This is a one-time fee. I want to say $250. You'll see it on the website. And it includes their jersey, includes their tournament fees. There's no other extra fees. And this runs from December all the way to April. So they're getting a lot of training when you look over a long period of time for a few months there. And there's even been a couple of practices where they've had to do them twice in 1 week just because of gym availability and stuff like that. So you'll see that they do end up getting a lot of practices and a lot of tournament play. We have a sub-regional team, and this is kind of like a little bit of grassroots and a little bit of regular tournaments, regional tournaments, local right here in Foley, where Foley Event Center is. So anytime I say local tournaments, I'm more geared towards right there. It could be in Mobile. Sometimes we have something that may pop up in Pensacola, but locally would be Mobile or Foley. Sub-regional, they were, as I mentioned, are still that 10 and 12, and they're not quite there with some of their skill levels. They may be brand new and they're at that age, and um, so they end up playing just three grassroots tournaments with that age group, and then they will play three regular tournaments in the regional division. And they will practice twice a week. They will start in December and also finish in March. And that program is, I want to say, 475 again. Look on our website and you'll see that. It does not include their uniform. They will purchase a uniform with that, a jersey top and spandex and knee pads, whatever they need. That most of the girls just use the knee pads they already have. So here we go. We got the regional teams. You have 11U, 12U, 13, all the way up to 18. And typically, I don't have regional teams in the 17 and 18s. We do offer volleyball, but that's usually power and elite that are still playing in the 17s and 18s. Those are the ones that are traveling a lot, and I'll explain that a lot because they're trying to get college scholarships or get ready for their high school season. So our regional teams practice twice a week. They do two of the tournament entry fees are included in this 690. Not included is your jerseys, any personal expenses or hotels for coaches, regional and region registrations. The players do, or the teams in the region division do play additional tournaments. But what we do is we will take that and say, for example, the entry fee was $400 for the tournament, and there's 10 players on the team. I'm going to break that up, $40 a person, exactly what it cost me. And if they have to drive to Mobile or whatever, I usually add in $20 to help the coach pay for their gas and food. So that's broken up between the players themselves, and that's usually due the week of the tournament. The 690 you'll see in a minute is broken up over. It can be broken up from one to up to 4 or 5 payments. As I mentioned, the regional teams only play regional, which is local. Now we have power teams. We offer power teams from 13 and up. They practice 2 to 3 times a week. Gym availability is tough right now, especially with basketball. And once they start playing, it's we can only get about 2 in. But anytime I can, I will get them in for three practices that week. Power teams, they attend 6 to 7 tournaments. Our regional teams also play about 5, usually 6 or 7 sometimes. But the difference in this is our power teams will definitely play in 2 overnight tournaments, one being a national qualifier. Our national qualifier we're looking at this year is in Orlando, and it's the first weekend of April. And I think Baldwin County, Gulf Shore City Schools, all those schools are out for spring break that week. So we would travel, say, on a Thursday and miss school. We play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you can come back Monday, or myself, I may stay a few days and enjoy just being spring break in South Florida. Just like regional teams, does not include your jerseys, hotels, and things like that, and travel expenses for the coaches when they travel. So since they do travel more, just give you an example. If there's a tournament fee of $400 and the hotel costs me $400, and now that is broken up between 10 players, that's $80 a player. Again, that will be due the week before the tournament. That money's very important because most of the time I've already paid for this tournament, so I get refunded on that because we got to get in the tournament soon, get registered and paid and stuff, or they'll kick us out. But the big thing is also paying for that hotel for that coach. So we usually get that money the week of, so that way I give that money straight to the coach and they can pay when they check into their hotels. Elite teams, they really do. I think I had one last year play 10 tournaments. They can go from 7 to 10 or 11 tournaments. There's a lot of them out there, and they usually want to play in a lot of tournaments, and they want to travel more. They're traveling at least once a month minimum overnight. They're still playing locally, Mobile or Foley, and on top of playing, at least one overnight tournament per month. They're going to go anywhere. They could go as far as late April, and then I'll talk more about a postseason type team that could go into nationals in Orlando, but which is late in the summer, AU nationals. But again, this one they'll travel for, and I'll have an example of some tournaments they'll travel to. But giving a quick example would be like Pigeon Forges in January that I want them to go to. And then February, they would go to Hoover and so forth. And then again, the national qualifier that they would be going to is the first weekend of April in Orlando. Required for registration. This is where we get into let's get checked, get your memberships and so forth. Your membership is actually carries my insurance, and the insurance is the girls. Like, it's a supplementary insurance. I've had a player actually get hurt, and they had tore their ACL, where obviously their insurance paid for a lot of it, but some of the therapy and things like that, there was a big copay. This is a supplementary, and they actually picked up some of those costs. So not only does it insure me, it insures the girls. And then they have to be a member of USA Volleyball. I don't even have any kind of control over this. They log in, they become a member of USA Volleyball. It kicks it back to me to let me know that they're now a member, and that fee is $90. Then you can go online with PIVC and do our evaluation registration. In the eval registration, you will put in your membership number to prove that you are now a member, and then you'll pay a $40 tryout fee or evaluation fee. One of the reasons I do this is because we use an app, and what you're going to see at our evaluations, it's very structured, especially with our 10 and up. We want to do really good evaluations. We have a number on the players. Unless they wear a jersey with a number already, we'll put a number on them. Every coach has an app. They're going to evaluate the kids. They're going to be able to see the player's picture, because we'll do all this at check-in. They'll see their number. They'll be able to add notes. They'll be able to rank them on their passing, their serving, and everything. And so when we actually go to choose teams and we talk about the players, we can look and see their face. We can remember that player. We can talk about the notes everybody took, and then we start looking, where they fit best for the program. The last thing would be the medical release form. It does have to be notarized, and you can do that with Michelle. She's kind of like our executive business person. She does all the bookkeeping. She keeps up with all the paperwork. She is a notary, so she can notarize it at evaluations. Now, all of our grassroots need to be developmental members. When you log into this USA membership, you're going to see that there's several different types of memberships. One is a developmental, and that's $50. Or you may be an 8U, and it's free. I think there is even a discounted rate if you're 9U. The 10 through 12, 10-year-old sub-regional and regional power, all the way up to 18-year-olds, you need to be a full membership, and that's at $90. I will add to this, when you say full membership, that includes indoor and beach. I mean, you're going to be good for any camps that come up, even with USA Volleyball. You're 100% full membership with that. I've already kind of mentioned some of these things when it comes to how we do evaluations. The main thing I want to put here is that we do evaluate their volleyball skills, their potential, their coachability, their work ethic, their positive attitude towards their teammates and their coaches. Again, we all evaluate. We give feedback. You're going to see coaches running drills. You're going to see coaches evaluate, and you're going to see some helping with some of the drills. And then we may swap them out so the other coaches can give us some feedback and let them add some notes. But everybody's involved in the evaluations. Here's the tricky thing. When you decide what age group you're trying out for, there is a cutoff date, and it's July 1st. So whatever you're going to be, your age up to July 1st. All right. So for example, if I was going to be play in the 14 and under, and my birthday falls in 2007, then that tells me in July 2007, I'm going to play in the 14 and under age division. And you can see August and so forth, and January. Where it changes is January of 2008, I'm in 14 and unders. but they give you a breakdown there, and this will be on the website. Hopefully you can see it pretty good here in this slideshow, but that gives you an idea. Now, if there's a special situation, because this does happen, for example, I know for a fact I have someone who is in 7th grade, but their birthday, she's very early, and she easily because qualify for her because she's 2010, and she could be in the 12 and unders. Well, 13-year-olds are 7th grade primarily, so she's wanting to play with her 8th grade level, and you can always play up. There are situations where we allow them to play down. If we had someone that had an older birthday and they're in 8th grade, this is where that happens. It seems like I've asked for a waiver so they could play with their grade level and not be playing with older kids. Again, look at the chart here, and it gives you a great idea. If you have any questions, please email me. We do use multiple facilities right now, where you can see that we use Gulf Shores Elementary, Gulf Shores Middle, Gulf Shores High School, Gulf Shores Church of Christ, and Baldwin County Christian Academy, Robertsdale High School. One of the things, everybody's going to have to rotate at some point. I know we have a lot of kids in different areas. We have some come from Fairhope. We have some come from Spanish Fort. We have a lot coming from Robertsdale. We have a lot coming from Alberta. And, of course, we have a lot in Gulf Shores, Foley, and Orange Beach. That being said, and not to mention, I think I mentioned Foley. That being said, we do try to rotate through the gyms, and so we will have some practices up in Robertsdale to help everybody out. So there might be one night a week where you may not be in Gulf Shores or anything. You may be in Robertsdale. But as you can tell, we have a couple of gyms before the bridge, and then we have some right under the bridge, and then you're going to see that we have some past the bridge in Gulf Shores is where I'm referring to. Midtown Trainers is also located in Gulf Shores behind the Kaiser Realty building. One of the other things is, especially with our power and elite teams, you're going to see that we're going to do some more scrimmages with Mobile and PIBC that may come available to challenge the players from both programs. So there could be some Saturdays or something before the season really kicks off where we do some scrimmages and try to get them going where we need them to go. Scheduling is always, and I ask everyone to be very patient with me. I really work with the gyms, especially the school gyms, because of basketball season. Now, that doesn't mean that the high school basketball coach has decided, we're practicing extra today, and we are, or we didn't have practice scheduled, but now we do because we didn't do so hot the night before, and he doesn't communicate with anyone. It's his gym, and that's their school, and they go and practice when they want to. I will say I have a great relationship with all the gyms, but it's always at one time or maybe twice in the season I find out that no one communicated with each other about someone using the gym that day. And so I'm very quick, and we're moving, and we're texting, and the coaches and stuff are trying to get everybody going to another gym. And, we rise above the occasion, and we adapt, adjust, and overcome it. But just be patient with me, that especially with the month of December and January. January, I think, is probably the hardest. Once February comes into play, our middle schools are now, finished with basketball, and that helps a lot. And you get into middle of February, our high schools are getting into their playoffs, and if they haven't made it that far, then their gyms start becoming available because their seasons are starting to end. So, and then you'll see on our calendar, everything's on our calendar for the practices, and it's amazing how, like, in middle of February, like, you'll see things I usually try to go week by week because I am double, triple, quadruple checking on gyms just to make sure that someone hasn't changed anything, and I always have my backup plan. So I usually post, our weekly practices per week, and give everybody a week ahead of time. And then all of a sudden, February, you'll see practices all the way to April because the gyms have come available so much. Scheduling tournaments, we will sit down together per team, and we'll say, okay, I'll give you a list of tournaments, and you'll see an example here in a minute. And we're going to choose what tournaments everybody can go to. You're only going to be charged the tournaments that you can attend. Now, we'll say this: if you cannot attend, or say you can attend, you plan to attend a tournament, and then the day before, like, yeah, it's not going to work. Well, I will tell you, we'll be responsible for that because I've broken that fee up between the players who can attend. And so if I go to those parents and say, we have so and so who cannot go now, and I can't turn around and now charge them more money because now it's not broken up over 10 players, it's broken up over 9 players. And because I am very, I wanted it to be affordable for the player, for the parents. And so um, I really go straight to like, okay, this is what this tournament's going to pretty much cost us. And I break it down, based off of that number of players that say they can attend. I do understand, like, there's been deaths in the family, there's been sicknesses and things like that. And so I really try to work with the parents on those type of situations. Um, Now, again, if it's just, we just choose not to, it's just not working out. I got too much going on that weekend, I can't go. That's a different story. Once we do, again, we'll sit down and we'll choose those tournaments, and that way you have an idea way ahead of time what those tournaments are, what they're going to cost, and you're going to see it in a bill or in an invoice type situation that Michelle sends out. So you'll see a team fee that's broken up over 4 to 5 months, whatever you choose to handle that, and then you're going to see a tournament fees that are due right before each tournament, and she keeps it all in a spreadsheet. She emails it to you every before each tournament and at the beginning of each month, so you can, based off of what plan you decide. Here's a sample of our tournaments. You can see our elite are traveling per month. I mean, they're going to go to Pigeon Forge, Hoover, Biloxi, Orlando. Our power teams are going to go. They're going to play the local ones. They even start in December, the power and elite. They're going to start quick. And then they go to Biloxi, the power team does, and they'll go to Orlando. That's their 2 overnight that we're looking at. And then our region teams, you can see they still play a lot. And I like, for my regional teams, I give them the opportunity to do 1 overnight, and that's in Biloxi. It's a great tournament. As I mentioned, I host a lot of tournaments. So the one in Biloxi is one that we host with Mobile Storm and Mississippi Gulf Coast Volleyball, and it's a very large tournament. You walk into a big convention center and there's 20 courts, and 100 and something teams playing that weekend, and so it's pretty neat to see all the volleyball and the different types of skill level that's there, and you're going to see college coaches, and it's a great atmosphere for the girls to see something big for our area. There are sponsors, and I take this. It's just something I know. I, as a kid, coming from a single family, single parent, there's no way I could afford something like this. Volleyball is expensive. I wish it wasn't. That being said, if there's anything that comes up, and you need assistance in some way, we have a sponsorship program. Players can sell ads. I even have a letter that you can actually take with you and then go to that business and say, hey, this is what we're doing. It explains our program, how that money will help that player and everything. I think that's important, that the business just doesn't see that it's just going back to some club or whatever. It's actually there to help that individual player. Now, we put all their sponsors on our shirts. We put them on the stuff for my tournaments I host. We'll put it on our website. So each ad sold, $50 goes back to the website and the t-shirts and stuff to help pay for it. And then $150 goes towards the players' fees. So I've actually had a person, go and get 4 or 5 sponsors and sell ads, and it covered, majority of it. We do always open up to fundraising ideas. They're always welcome. You can talk to me, and I usually get a couple of parents from that team, or maybe I might get one of our other parents that's done this before and kind of put them together so we can help in that way. But yes, individual teams can do fundraisers. We're always open for like Boston Butts, raffles, etc. I'm open to anything. I host probably about 4 to 5 tournaments, and to put something up in front, where if it is a raffle, whatever, I'm open for it. You're welcome to set up stuff or sell things, whatever y'all come up with. I'm there to help and support in any way I can. I will say this. if you can't, you need sponsor ads and you're having trouble and you've only been able to get one or two and you need two more, let me know. I will help you. I will go to another business. I have several businesses already that are out there, and they know I don't even let them, go and buy an ad unless a player has gone to them, or they're sitting back and wait and say, okay, who do you need help with? What is another player that needs help? And I'm always going to them saying I can count on them every year to kind of help one of our players. So again, I'm very proud to say no player has ever not played for our club because they couldn't afford it, because I will, like I said, help you get those ads if needed. We do accept payments online, credit card, debit card from our website, cash, Venmo, or check. Michelle collects all the payments and handles all the players' accounts. So you'll see some emails coming out after we get started. You're going to see what her email is and how to contact her. As I mentioned earlier, she's going to be sending those invoices out every month, and before a tournament, she's going to let you know what's coming up. One of the things we have to do, we got to get into some of these tournaments. Is $150 is due to the club no later than December the 15th. This comes straight to your fees. Now, you can break the rest of your fees up in two payments to be paid on like February 1st and March 1st, or you can break it up into 5 equal installments. Whatever you need to. You can have option 3 where you really want it to be broken up in maybe couple payments here and a couple payments there, and then the last one's a big payment. Who knows? And they're on different dates than just the first of every month. The main thing that I stress so much is just communication. Let Michelle know. We will work with you. I want to make it feasible. I want to be able to fit what your family has going on, or how you get paid, or whatever works for you. I've even I have several every year say, look, I'm going to pay this much and this much, and then I get my tax return and I'll pay the rest. And that's fine. I totally get that. We just need to have something down on paper for our contract that these fees will be paid and they are due and they are your responsibility. All fees have to be paid up by April 1st unless there's some situation you've contacted me and you want to pay on April 10th, something like that. But again, communication. If fees are not paid, I really don't have an issue. Never had an issue with this, but we will send it over to a collection agency at the end of April if you haven't communicated, or if you still have an overdue balance. We've already talked about payment plans, and one of the things I never have an issue with, at least at Storm Volleyball, I think. Talking with me and knowing how I feel about, especially because I run these tournaments, we don't have any players or parent issues when it comes to that. So player and parent conduct guidelines, as well as those set forth by Storm and our coaches, need to be adhered to. One of the things is, and I know sometimes you may have questions, or why did my player get subbed out at this time and didn't go back at this time, or maybe they only played front row and they didn't play back row, and you just have some questions. And not saying that we're trying to create an issue, but you just have questions and you want to talk to our coaches, or you want to talk to me. One of the things we really have in our program is the 24-hour no contact rule. It's usually not, especially for me, I'm hard on myself sometimes. I may question myself, okay, especially after a loss. I do it sometimes even when we win, but I'm thinking about my defense I ran, or maybe I should have flip-flopped my rotation, or, I should have blocked line instead of cross, and things like that. So 24 hours, I'd rather wait 24 hours and talk about it, because I'm thinking about that match so much right then and there during that first 24 hours. And so it's not a good time to talk to me about some of those things or questions you may have. This includes texts or messages or phone calls or emails to set up a meeting. Wait 24 hours, gives you time to think about, or even talk to your daughter about what was going on during the game at that time. And then it gives me time to kind of reflect on what happened during the game and what I want. And then we can sit down and talk, or make a phone call, or through email. We are highly involved in the college recruiting part of things. I should say that, things should start getting started around really 9th and 10th grade, especially 11th grade. We do work with Rosal Sports Consulting to help with the recruiting process, but I'm available. We also have another coach on staff that's very heavy into the recruiting process. She went through the recruiting process. She then kept doing stuff for club and for her mother's club when she was coaching for her. And I think, we have what you need when it comes and can guide you in the right ways. You don't always have to use one of the consulting programs, but they are out there. They're great programs, and we're able to let you get in touch with them as well. That being said, we started Huddle. Huddle is a program that we will video them. This is for the elite and club power programs teams. I've contracted with Huddle. I'm paying for it. It's not costing anybody any extra money. But I do need a parent to help video every match. And I'll purchase the tripod and the extra battery pack that works great if you can video from your phone. We will upload that video same day. In 24 hours, we get the stats from that video. Also, every player have their own account with Huddle. So when we upload that for that team and all those players, it's recognizing those players too because of their number and all. But you can sit there and for your child or your daughter, you can actually click on their name and say, I want all the highlights of her hitting. And it will pull all the highlights of her just hitting. You may say, I want her highlights of her digging. And it pulls all the highlight videos of her just digging a volleyball. Maybe it's just serving. Maybe you just want all the highlights of your daughter. You can save those and use these things for our recruiting. As far as recruiting for college coaches, you can send these highlight videos. You want to keep up with these stats, and they're going to be in this program for you all, for this year. And as you continue with our program, I plan on continuing to use it. And so it's a great system for you to use. In general, our coaches love it because they may even do it for practice, and it kind of helps them in guiding some of their practices. And then, of course, after a tournament, they like looking over things and seeing what they're going to work on for that next week at practice, so to get ready for the next tournament. So you will see things coming out about Huddle after we choose our teams. And again, it's a great program. Storm volleyball is growing. We had this concept, and Nicole and I really jumped on board with it. And it's funny, we joke back and forth because she started Storm volleyball because our philosophies are the same. Storm volleyball has kind of become us. And because, there's things that she does I love, and I tell her I'm still in that. And then, of course, there's things I'm doing, and she's like, I like that, and I'm still in it. We have now started North Baldwin Storm volleyball. And this is geared towards the Bay Minette players and above, like Atmore and Uri and Escambia. So to give them the opportunity that some of the kids in that area don't have. And so you'll see a lot of stuff come out about North Baldwin volleyball. Also, they're going to probably start out with just regional teams, and then they'll hopefully they can get to the point where they'll have power and elite teams as well. I really think we'll have a lot more grassroots and some regional teams available for that area this year. So again, you'll see a lot of stuff come out, and maybe on the websites about that. As you can tell, we do hang out a lot. Here's a couple of pictures of us, our staff and coaches, where we helped with the Florida State beach tournament this past year. They contacted us and wanted us to set it up and help run it. And here's a nice picture of us in our Christmas party hanging out together. Like I said, we really enjoy each other's company. We get along great, and we're always spending time together outside of just volleyball. So here comes the spoiler alert, so to speak. Alabama Gulf Coast Sports Center. So PIVC's been working on this for a long time, and it's finally coming to life. And we're going to be opening and building from the ground up a multi-sport center. Obviously, this is right now, I'll be honest with you, I'm waiting on steel and metal to go down because the prices are still high. But we are in a public-private partnership with the city of Gulf Shores to build this thing. It's a 35,000 square foot facility. It will have 4 volleyball courts that can transfer into basketball courts. It will also have 8 beach courts with lights. to do leagues and lots of different training on the weekends and at night. And we'll have a fitness center where we can do our MVP workouts. It'll have a cafe. There'll be a couple auxiliary rooms too that are for lease. Like I'm already talking to someone who has their physical therapy they would like to put in there, and then someone else that's wanting to use it for like yoga and stuff because those are big rooms too. So there'll be. I really want it to be kind of a cool place where players can come in. There's a cafe and everything. They can sit down, do some homework, wait for their practice, or maybe go work out for 30 to 40 minutes and then their practice starts. Same thing for the parents. I want them to be able to come in and they have a nice area where they can hang out, watch their, daughters play or sons play volleyball and be comfortable, with things. Um, There'll be a lot of things going on as far as hosting different events here on top of just volleyball in general going on. So I'm very excited about it and can't wait for this to be built. I'm hoping that it be something that will come to life in the next year. But we're working on it. We've got our plans together. We got our architects. We got our engineers. Everything's ready for this bad boy to go up. We're just waiting on some of the cost of material to go down. Here's the location. It's going to be at the Gulf Shore Sportsplex, and you'll see that it's on the current home side of the football stadium. It'll be right up front with, and the beach courts, I think, are going to be right there up front as well. Again, I appreciate everybody. Don't hesitate to get in touch with me if you have any questions. I've thrown a lot of information, and I'm sure I've forgot something in here. But again, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we'll be glad to answer any questions. Our evaluations are coming up. You'll find that on our website as well. And let me know if you need anything.